Hello friends, so I'm going to talk to you about the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, as it's called in Hindi, but in the Sanskrit it's called Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. These are long names, so let's just call it VBT. And it's great that a lot of people are getting interested in the VBT in recent years. The history goes back over 1,200 years. But what I would like to tell you today, that there are two basic streams of the information of the VBT that have come to where we are now at this time in our new era. So we could say the streams are from Paul Reps, Osho, and through Osho's books to the world. Because Osho is a very good orator, a very good speaker and great author, let's say, of books that really explain the meditation techniques. But Osho based his version of the VBT on an English translation published by an American poet, Zen poet, called Paul Reps in 1957. So when Osho was given this book or found this book, he obviously read the 112 techniques and put them into application. He experimented with them through his intuition, through his experience. He could then give us an in-depth exploration and suggest to us how to practice these 112 techniques. He also correctly gave us some information that these are based on the Shivaism of Lord Shiva. Shiva, whether he was a god or a real person, nobody really knows. Whether it was 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, nobody's really sure. So, but Osho correctly said that these 112 techniques have come down to us, to our modern day, and we can experiment with them. And that you can try every technique, maybe try it for 3 days, and if it suits you, then you continue for 3 months. So this is a very good suggestion Osho gave us. 3 days, if it suits you, you can feel, oh, it's beginning to work for me. Now I really want to do it deeper. So maybe next step we can actually go 3 weeks for one technique. Then if 3 weeks, we really begin to feel this technique's working, then we can go on for 3 months. And if actually you do every 112 meditations for 3 months, that's many, many years of your life just meditating. It's wonderful. Personally, I have done the darkness meditation from the VBT twice for 3 months and once more for like 6 weeks. Fantastic meditation for me. But other meditations from the VBT, the heart meditations, the senses meditations, I include for personal experience, but also in a lot of our seminars. So I have also come through the Paul Reps to Osho lineage. Now, I also started to become interested, where did Paul Reps get the 112 techniques from? So I found out that he actually was traveling in Kashmir, and he met a Kashmiri man called Laksmanjoo. And if you do a little research, you can find out the same stories. Laksmanjoo was born in 1907, and he died in 1991, a year after Osho. So they were basically alive at the same time. And Laksmanjoo was actually born into a Kashmiri Shaivism family. And he also had Kashmiri Shaivism masters from a young age. So he also was teaching the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra and had an academy in Srinagar in Kashmir. So some people have this idea that the sutras of Shiva were lost. Some people have even said that they were hidden in a library by the British. And this, I'm not sure where this story came from. It sounds correct, but actually, from my latest research, it's a bit different. So, Laksmanjoo came across the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra and this in the Sanskrit version, and it was published in 1918. So, two Maharajas of Kashmir started a project of asking the local Kashmiri people to bring all the scriptures that they knew of, and to preserve these scriptures, they would be copied and published. So there was this project in 1918, published the Vigyana Bhairav Tantra, but not yet translated. So the English world didn't know about it. So it's Laksmanjoo who actually helped Paul Reps to translate the 112 techniques into English. But because Paul Reps was a Zen poet, it seems that he was inspired to condense the sutras into a shorter version, like a haiku or a Japanese poem. So we have like these 112 sentences with just a little preface. But actually there are 162 verses of the original. And there's a project of some Sanskrit scholars who are now translating in a new way, translating from the 162 original verses into English. So that's a project that's going on now. There's new interest. So let's say that was the other stream. Perhaps it's a scholarly stream, but we think scholars are just interested in words, interested in like philology. But Laksmanjoo himself and some of the newer translators are also practitioners. They didn't just, out of interest, or let's look at these ancient scriptures, they also practiced it. So Laksmanjoo was also a practitioner, and he was also applying the techniques for himself, and he has given lectures. So he has an academy. Also, that academy attracted many Westerners to go to Kashmir. He also traveled to USA, went to California. And so the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra now has these two major streams, the people that went through Laksmanjoo and the people that went from Paul Reps and Osho. Now, so it's not to say one is better than the other. Perhaps the scholarly will be more technical, but Osho is more from his own enlightened experience. I think both ways are valid. And I think the history of the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra is very interesting. It goes back to a master called Vasugupta, that in the 8th or 9th century he had a dream that Shiva came to him and told him that now my teachings, Shiva's teachings, is being lost in the world. This is 1,200 years ago already. Already the teachings were lost. He's much older, much more ancient. Shaivism goes back to at least 200 of our common era, and perhaps 200 before our common era. But in those few hundred years, the teachings had got lost. So Shiva came to Vasugupta, gave him this dream, and Vasugupta went and found this 112 sutras written in a rock. So then he noted them down, began to teach. He had some disciple and disciple. Then about 100 years later, there was a very important master called Abhinavagupta. And he was researching all the religions of India of that time. He also was in Kashmir. And he wrote down all that he had discovered in a very huge book called Tantra Loka, which is just now in the process of being translated into English. And a shortened version is also called Tantrasara. So we have some more tantric techniques from this 1,000 years ago coming to our new world, where technology, the internet, computers can help us to preserve the ancient scriptures. But then our job is to practice these tantric techniques, not just study, but to feel them, that this is what Tantra is about. Tantra is a method of saying yes to life. And the Shiva Sutras, the 112 techniques, are guidances of how to experience love in this moment, how to experience consciousness in this moment. That even something as simple as eating some cake, one becomes the taste. I disappear into the taste. The taste is filling me, and I merge with this. This is what Tantra is. It's emerging. It's a technique of love. I love this taste, and that love fills me, my body, my mind, my spirit. Tantra is basically the path of love. Shiva, the name of Shiva, means what is good. Om means yes. It is the universal sound. The whole universe started with the sound Om. It was the universal consciousness saying yes to itself. This is the Tantra legend. And it's very nice to understand not just the techniques of Tantra, but also to understand some of the philosophy, the spiritual or metaphysical concepts of Tantra. That Shiva is also said to be universal consciousness, just light shining. But we only know Shiva exists through Shakti. So the universal consciousness, perhaps we can't see it, we can't experience it directly. So it's been personified as a god, Shiva. His action, when Shiva creates this world through his Nataraja, through his dance, he is manifesting his action. That is his Shakti. Shakti means the energy of creation. And it is personified by a goddess. So when you see Tantrikas worshipping Shiva or Shakti, actually they're not really worshipping a god or a goddess. They're remembering that the universal consciousness is yes. But we know consciousness exists through the action of consciousness. That when Shiva's light, or the light of the ultimate consciousness, radiates through the universe, it is somehow light, but unmanifest. And then it becomes manifest through the action. And how does that action happen? Because the Shakti is also dynamic, but it's also consciousness being aware of itself. So if I am Shiva, and you are Shiva, of course, we are all Shiva. So let's say, I am Shiva, and I am aware. Now, are you aware that you are aware? Yes or no? This is always a big question. This is about non-dualism. In dualism, we consider God is separate from me. In non-dualism, I and God are the same. I am the universe is me. Similar to Advaita. Advaita, also another spiritual tradition, also is non-dual, slightly different in some ways we can say Advaita is quite different than Tantra. That's another discussion. But in non-dual Tantra, We're saying, I am everything. But if I am Shiva, I am consciousness. But Shakti is being conscious that you're conscious. And in that energy, in the energy of consciousness, it's like, let's say, a goddess that is pregnant, being conscious of herself. The goddess is conscious of herself. She's more introverted in a way. She's looking in herself and seeing, oh, I am aware that I have awareness. And this creates creation. It's like a mother giving birth to the universe. It's not like Shiva is a man and Shakti is a woman. That's just the personification, an explanation that consciousness leads to creation. And this can happen not just 13 billion years ago, it's happening now all the time. We are consciousness now, and we are creating that manifestation of consciousness through our actions. So how do I create? What do I create? This is my choice. That in Tantra is called Svatantriya or Svatantra, but usually they call it Svatantriya, which means like a freedom to choose, the free will. You can choose what to create. Do you create something good in the world? Of course, Tantra is about saying yes to the world. We will bring something good into this world. Svatantriya is not just, I have the freedom to destroy or the freedom to be aggressive, that anti-life. If you are really in the tantric path, you will have the freedom, but spontaneous freedom, to create life affirmative actions, that your life becomes beautiful, your life becomes real, your life becomes true. So this is a little explanation of what is called Trika Tantra. Trika means the law of three. There are three divine energies. Like in the chakra system, we always talk about the Ida channel, the feminine channel, the Pingala channel, the masculine channel, and the Sushumna channel. There are also, Shiva, Parvati, and Ganesh. There's many versions of explaining the universe in threes. Tantra is about the law of three. So we're going to, in our Tantra courses from IMAP, with me and my beloved Tamaya, we will present the tantric techniques to you from the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, and we will also give these explanations about what is the hidden concepts of Tantra, to guide you that it's not just for enjoying in this moment, but Tantra is a path to the ultimate consciousness, that you become the ultimate consciousness, whether it's a god or a goddess or beyond both. We are non-dual. I'm not male, I'm not female, I'm both. We will guide you in this amazing experience of meditation, of consciousness through the path of love.